Hi, I'm Dr. Karen Parker here with your weekly Quantum Human Design Energy forecast for the week starting on Monday, April the 21st. Whew. The theme this week that I want to talk about is the tango between Venus and Saturn. This is a dance that they've been doing off and on all month long, and I want to encourage you and support you in understanding why we're being disrupted by these two planets, why they're playing together so interestingly this month, and how this cycle of Venus and Saturn playing together, dancing together, is really instrumental in helping us catalyze a season of disruption into a powerful season of transformation. I'm actually going to be talking about that for 5 days starting on Monday, April the 28th, for a 5-day masterclass series that's all about what's going on the planet and how do we coach ourselves and others through this disruptive time. This 5-day series is going to focus on how to intentionally use disruption as a catalyst for true growth, for true maturation, and how you can help yourself or your clients, if you're any kind of a healer or coach, if you have a practice of helping others in any way, how you can use this information to support people in making radical and relentless and revolutionary shifts in their life so that they can step into fulfilling the person they were born to be. Why do you need to know this? When you understand how to use disruption intentionally, it becomes an incredible way for you to step into a path that allows you to accelerate your manifesting process, that allows you to create more meaning and purpose. It actually improves your wellness. It can improve your relationships. Understanding how to use disruption as an intentional tool for change gives you the power to stay in control when it feels like everything else is out of control. And here's the thing. When you are able to stay connected to your truth, to yourself, to regulate yourself from the inside out, it makes you uncontrollable. No one can stop you, and you get to stay in power and in control of what you end up creating in your world. So join me again Monday, April the 28th, 5 days masterclass series. I'll post the registration link for you below. All right. I'm going to start first with Sun Earth because it's kind of simple this week because we really only have one cycle of the sun this week. The sun starts us off on Tuesday, highlighting the gate 27, the gate of accountability. We are grounded in the gate the gate 28, the gate of adventure or challenge. Now, in traditional human design, the gate 28 is oftentimes referred to as the gate of struggle, and certainly it can be the struggle to discover what dreams are really worth pursuing, what really is worth putting your energy into. And I want to start this week by saying, if you're downsizing your dreams, if you're doing strategic dreaming, meaning you're trying to create something that's going to give you something else, you're Band-Aid manifesting because you're too afraid to step into the vision of your real dream, your big dream, that isn't grounding. That actually can burn you out. That actually can cause your path to be riddled with obstacles. And part of why it feels like your path is riddled with obstacles when you're trying to create small and tiny things is because, well, number one, I actually think your soul gets bored. So your soul is like, this isn't big enough. Let's create some problems. But that's just my personal theory. But the second reason is your higher self, your awareness knows that trying to create something little, something that you could probably create on your own, we talked about this last week, is actually not what you're here to do. You're here to stretch. You're here to grow. You're here to fulfill a unique purpose that only you and the entire cosmos can fulfill. And when we're not grounding ourselves in the vision of that thing, that purpose, that meaning, that is that inspiration, right? That we are designed to pursue, because the inspiration in and of itself is the reward. That if we're not following that, we don't create effectively. It's like trying to build a birdhouse with the plans of a cathedral. Don't build birdhouses, build cathedrals. And certainly this week we're grounded when we begin to dream of the cathedral, when we start to see those stained glass windows and all the amazing things we're going to put inside our beautiful temple that is a place where we come to worship our story, to really stand in a place of awe of the sacredness of who you were born to be and that mission, that purpose that only you and this entire cosmos can fulfill. That's what we ground ourselves in. The 27, what our sun is highlighting, is inviting us to be accountable to our dreams, to be responsible for doing the work necessary to manifest our dreams, right? That's sort of the bigger picture of this. On the lower, more mundane level, this energy can certainly set us up to struggle over values and each other's values and trying to force or enforce our values onto somebody else's values. And certainly this is an opportunity for us this week, before we open our mouths or say anything or judge, to really evaluate carefully, what are our values? What's really worth fighting for? And how do we create room enough in our lives to be more allowing of not only our own values, but to really explore whether our values are really the values we need to be pushing onto others. So certainly in this time, when we're all kind of going to the mat over values, maybe one of the values we need to consider is, how do we value each other better? How do we take into consideration other people's perspectives, other people's points of views, and how do we find compassion and connection points between each other? That doesn't mean you have to agree with somebody else. That doesn't mean you have to believe that they are right or you are right. It means that we have to find bridges from within which we can connect to each other. We cannot live and create from these polarized perspectives without getting the results that we're getting. So a good contemplation for all of us this week as we continue on our journey of disruption. All right, April 26th, we go into full Mercury forward movement. We're out of the shadow of Mercury. So if you got a new computer and it's been sitting in your office, that's me, waiting until Mercury to be out of the shadow, out of its retrograde station, you can start setting up your computer on April the 26th. That means now we get to put pedal to the metal on everything we've been contemplating, thinking about, and doing. Venus will be joining us soon out of the shadow, but in the meantime, Venus is tangoing this week again with Saturn. So Venus and Saturn have been doing this conjunction dance for the last week, and they'll continue to do it this week. And they are taking turns or sharing the light of the gate 36, shining their light on the gate 36. Now, let's not forget that the nodes are also highlighting the gate 36. Now, the gate 36, as I've been saying over the last few months, has been a character in our story that has been showing up again and again and again. Many, many different planets have been highlighting the gate 36, which in traditional human design is called the gate of chaos. I like to think of it as the gate of experience, and it is a place where we are learning, we are stretching the boundaries of what's possible. It is a place literally where miracles live in the chart. And if you think of a miracle is simply something that defies a pattern, right? It defies expectation. And so when we start thinking about the gate 36, we're also thinking about or looking at an energy that supports us in breaking free from expected patterns, breaking free from limiting patterns, breaking free from any ideas that's causing us to think something is impossible, because a miracle by definition is something that defies the possible, right? We are in a season and a cycle where even though things are being dismantled, the old systems, they're not working, the old ways of doing things, they're not working, right? We're also simultaneously building. And this gate 36 energy is basically saying, okay, well, we're starting off exploring what else is possible. We are looking at the question, what else is possible? We are asking ourselves, what old limiting patterns, habits, old ways of thinking need to go by the wayside in order for us to start the process of building something else that might be a better solution, a more elegant solution to the challenges facing humanity today. Now, this is happening on a collective level, but also on a personal level. This same energy is being reflected in the big outer planets and in the inner personal planets. And so Saturn is sort of our teacher. Saturn is teaching us, revealing to us all those places where we're limited, right? And it's not comfortable. It doesn't feel good. It feels, like we're being boxed in. And many of us have felt this sense of, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to break free. I feel like I'm being, railroaded and run over by all of this stuff that's happening, right, in the collective and in our personal lives. And it can feel a little bit like we're out of control. This is why staying connected to your authentic self, your purpose, your mission, your dream, this week especially, is so important, because when you can stay connected to that, it gives you a compass, a way forward when it feels like everything is falling apart. So Venus and Saturn's sort of saying, okay, let's blow this up. This isn't working anymore. It's chaos. And Venus is saying, okay, let's find the beauty in the chaos. Let's find the gifts in the chaos. Let's use this dismantling, this disruption, this chaos as a catalyst, as the fuel for us to begin to explore our own values, what we value, what is beautiful, and how do we create something better. This is a really, I think, a very interesting combination of energies, and certainly a reminder that you are a powerful creator. You are designed to steer the forces of the cosmos in a creative way. And when we stand in that power, when you do not abdicate that power, when you don't surrender that power, when you instead say, okay, wait, I'm a creative being. I actually came here to create. I think that's your job, right? That when I recognize that I am part of the creative force that forms the external world on this planet, what do I want to create? What do I want? It's that same question that we've been playing with over and over and over again. What is yours to fulfill and what do you want? And to not play small, to not play small. This is about, something tiny. This is about getting really back in touch with your huge capacity to generate a better world, to take some time this week to really envision what else is possible. What kind of world do you want to be living in? What kind of future do you want to start the process of engineering on an energetic level so that when it's time, the next right step on the material plane and the next right step and the next right step will reveal themselves to you and you'll know exactly what to do next. You won't know what to do next if you don't build the energetic matrix for it first. That's why dreaming is so important. You are constructing the spiritual rebar, putting the scaffolding in place for the manifestation of whatever it is that's next. And if you fail that dreaming part, if you don't do that dreaming part, if we let the chaos sweep us up into panic and fear, rather than using it as a catalyst for intentional envisioning and growth, then we run the risk of misusing our creative efforts, our creative power. So dream. You need to dream. You need to be dreaming. You need to be dreaming big. Don't downsize your dream. Don't settle for less. Don't let the impatience cause you to lose connection with what needs to happen next, with the importance of the dream piece. Don't let fear become the architect of something that isn't really what you're here to build. Okay? Take back control over your destiny by getting it straight inside of yourself and envisioning. When you do that, you will call in the next right step, the next right action. Don't downplay the importance of creating the energy first. That's it. That's what I've got for you this week. Have a really good week, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.